Good afternoon on what is a warm, grey and cloudy day. It is Friday the 17th of May and I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. And what I've got in here is The People of the Pit, Dungeon Crawl Classics 68, a level 1 adventure by Joseph Goodman. Now this is an important title for Dungeon Crawl Classics. The previous one, 67, Sailors on the Starless Sea, introduced the first scenario for Dungeon Crawl Classics, the role-playing game published by Goodman Games, inspired by the Appendix N, which marked a switch from Goodman Games publishing for versions of Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. So previously, the publisher had put out titles for Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, 3.5 and Pathfinder. Now it was writing for its own role-playing game, its own fantasy role-playing game, Dungeon Crawl Classics. And The People of the Pit, 68, was the second one to do this. And being the second one where Sailors on the Starless Sea was a character funnel, the scenario where everyone takes a 0 level character, or 4 of them, and it has them attempt to survive a scenario and then hopefully accrue enough experience points to make it to first level. This is a first level adventure. You've got the experience points, your first level, start playing as you would a normal kind of Dungeons and Dragons style fantasy role-playing game. So it has been years since the last virgin was sacrificed, and now the pit beast awakens once more. Every generation it stumbles forth on undulating tentacles from its resting place deep below the great ravine, its towering, blubbery mass ravaging the land before returning to slumber for decades. But this time is different. The great beast strikes with intelligent hands of faceless grey-robed men to emerge from the tenebrous depths, herding the beast's roaming tentacles before them. The enigmatic people of the pit live despite the passage of the ages. The earth shakes each night as they herd the primordial tentacles even further, while the villagers ask, is any man brave enough to put up the sword to this menace? Yes, of course they are, the player characters. And this is actually written by the owner of Goodman Games, Joseph Goodman, so that's also special. I mean, he's got a good cadre of writers around him, Brendan LaSalle, Michael Curtis and so on. They're all good, but it's nice to see one from himself. So we open up and we have a great shot of the tentacle beast, and this is followed by the typical frontispiece you'll see at the beginning of every Dungeon Crawl Classics title, and with the credits at the top there. You know, basically, here are the credits. Here's a great piece of artwork, and then we have introduction to what a Dungeon Crawl Classics scenario is. Or just remains mostly the same from scenario to scenario, from release to release, and then the background for this scenario. We've got an encounter table, notes on magical portals, and the cult of basically the encounter tables, notes on magical portals, and then the details on the cult of the pit. And then how the tentacles of the pit beast are actually controlled. And then possibly the idea of a transportation by tentacle. So it's all about the beasts before we get to the point where you say, player beginning, how do they get involved? And this basically got the purple prose at the beginning, and then we get into the locations where the action will take place. So not necessarily a huge amount to see per se. You've got some very nice artwork, kind of them going about the business of being adventurers, and this being proper adventurers, not your 0 level rabble, desperate to survive in the hope that they might have a better life, other than being a cheesemonger. Nothing against cheesemongers, but blessed are the cheesemongers. So lightly illustrated, you're onto level 2. So it's a level 2, the Cult's workshop, and they, basically here you have a nice piece splitting the two the page in two, or basically where, you know, this is labelled the death of Kukuldab of Hyro, one of the heroes, and this is how the heroes were reduced from 4 to 5. You can see him being swallowed up there, the creature's tongue. And then here we've got the classic foursome, you know, who adventure through many a Dungeon Crawl Classics scenario. And then we have down to level 3, the Holy Sanctuary. And even further down to level 4, People of the Pit, where they are worshipping more tentacles. And at the end of it, we have, essentially that's the end of it, we've got an appendix, we've got a new spell. And the great thing about spells in Dungeon Crawl Classics is that they have random events, you know, that depend very much on the player character's skill. Handouts, we've got mazes to explore, and not very easy mazes, because these are kind of swirly mazes, they're not straight or level. And then we have the dungeons, so this is the plan of dungeon level 1. So essentially there's the ravine you'll be going down and then exploring down further. Level 2. Level 3. And then you've got the extra locations on level 4 down there. So you've got level 3, level 4. They kind of get smaller as they typically do. Then we've got the extra level Assassins of the Pit. More cultists, octomasses, and so on. And you've got a map there for that extra bonus level. And then we've got portrait of the quartet of adventurers who rampaged all the way through Goodman Games Dungeon Crawl Classics scenarios. So this is, say, the People of the Pit. It looks like kind of a classic kind of dungeon, great kind of pulpy, that kind of Doubleday pulpy colour cover, and then sort of like a classic dungeon after that, which Dungeon Crawl Classics doesn't always do, but this I think is an example of it. I look forward to giving this a proper review in due course, because I'm thinking about I'm going to review more Dungeon Crawl Classics and pick up the ones I haven't got. And now I started with this one, of course, because I've done a review, done an unboxing of Sailors on the Starless Sea. This one is next. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, or in this case a scenario for Dungeon Crawl Classics, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice little cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.